rock and roll.
Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, Chris Mallard. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you've had a wonderful week so far. It's Thursday, the day of Thor. I'm so excited. Let me do this right here real quick because I forgot to do stuff. Yes, good morning, everyone. It's almost Friday. Are you excited about Friday? Let me tell you what I got going on Friday. This Friday, tomorrow, mañana, yours truly will be on Truth Wanted. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I believe it's 6 p.m. Central. I don't know. They sent it to me in Central and it screws me up. But tomorrow afternoon, they're bound to drop links sometime soon. And as soon as they do, I'll post those links on my Facebook page. I'm going to be on Truth Wanted. It's going to be a lot with Objectively Dan. Going to be a lot of fun. Why are you still making noise? Oh, there it is. Yes. So going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. Also, next weekend on Thursday, let me just check something here. Yes, next weekend, I am going to be doing an audition for Shakespeare on probably the 20th. It says the 19th, but my schedule, I need to change my schedule to the 20th. So I'm going to be doing a Shakespeare audition for a play that's going to be put on at not in the park. It's going to be an actual production in a theater here in Albuquerque. So doing that Thursday or next weekend, I'm sorry. So very excited. Nervous about that. And then the weekend after that, my friends, mi amigos, the weekend after that, I'm going to be in NanoCon, me, the amazing Super Chris, alone and scared. Seth Andrews is going to be there. The Godless Engineer is going to be there. Lots of people. Too many to mention, really, in fact. Too many speakers, and then just people who are going to be there to see the show. It's just going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. I am very much looking forward to it. So we'll talk about some of those things. I also have another idea we're going to talk about today and see how that goes. Yeah, because I made a note. I wrote it down because I kind of have to do that sort of thing. And we're going to have some fun. Yes, we'll be back in just a minute. Let's see. Oh, let's do this one here.
Are you feeling the world is leaving you behind? Do you look at all the pseudoscience, rumors, and wild speculation on the internet and wonder, why can't I do that? Well, friend, you can. We can help you. We are Conspirowin. Conspirowin has a long history of helping anyone with a hidden truth. We will get your message out. The conspiracy theories you see today all started out with one person's vision. The moon landing hoax was launched by a NASA engineer whose manager didn't okay his vacation request. Conspirowin was there to help out. Christianity started out because one little girl named Mary got pregnant out of wedlock, and Conspirowin saved the day. Now, the virgin birth is accepted Catholic doctrine. You may be thinking, but my idea of the center of the earth being made of ice is far-fetched. No one's going to believe that. In a world where people believe windmills cause cancer, we say no dream is too big. Conspirowin will take your fledgling idea and feed it to our YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok operatives. And these savvy social media professionals will raise doubts with the prevailing scientific consensus. They will say, no one has ever seen the planet's core except Jesus. And science is wrong all the time. That's why science has theories and not Jesus. Within 30 days, we guarantee you CNN will run a story on how your conspiracy theory isn't true. We will also give you 100% assurance Fox News will say your crazy idea about the Earth's core being an icy ball is true. Follow your heart. Listen to the voices no one else can hear. Team up with Conspirowin.
All right, here's a little tidbit of knowledge for anybody out there who uses OBS. I just happen to be talking to Ryan, and that's if you use OBS and you happen to have artifacts like images or logos or sound bites or little videos, you cannot store them on an external drive. You should not do that. The reason why is because, especially like if I were to do that, let's imagine I did that. I stored my video for the opening scene where it comes on, Chris Mallard, that's cool, Ryan, that's cool. Okay, so when I hit that button, you know how sometimes when you go to those drives, it takes a minute. It's got to kind of open and load, and the drive has to spin up. Well, your show's waiting for all that while you do it. So you got to have all your show material on your C drive. That's, I mean, anything really. I'm that kind of nerd. Anything or another SSD drive within your computer, but never on an external drive or anything like that. Just a bit of advice. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning.
That might help you with some of your problems. Just
Maybe that's all the issue I'm having. It's just I have so much. I need to clear space on my hard disk or whatever it's called for a Mac. So
yes, I don't know. I don't know a lot about Mac, so I want to change gears back to you. Look fantastic today.
thanks.
The evil one and I watched the show from yesterday. Part of it, we got distracted because I also then took her back to watch the Ark Encounter protest scenes she hadn't seen, so we got distracted with that. But she loves your hair, your outfit. She's a fan.
Oh, thank
She's such a
you.
fan.
I love her too.
I want to say good morning to kisses to the evil one.
Yes.
Nancy is here. Good morning, Nancy. Nancy says, Ryan, is it just me or do you get more and more gorgeous every time you're on screen? I know. Her shine dulls my
shine. Light
shine.
coming in. That's all it is. It's been really dark out. We've gotten some bad storms here and are supposed to get more, but it's just the window. That's all it is. It's good lighting,
Vic Lit says pretty eyeshadow. I think she's talking about you.
Well, let me see.
I'm not
Chris,
sure.
do you have any? Let me see. Do you have
Only
anything
a
on
tad.
today? Yeah, I did something different. I don't ever do like blues or green, but I did
That's cool.
blues and greens today to match the my shirt. Margarita or pina colada, whatever the F it is.
Good morning, everyone. John Hudson is here this morning. Really is here. Left-handed Jedi. Austin Sims. Good morning, Austin Sims says, rocking the Hawaiian shirt today. Hey, I should have. I've been a slacker. Ever since I got back, I haven't been wearing my colored shirts. I've been just kind of chilling, decompressing. I'm decompressing. I'll be back on point shortly. Giles says, God mornings. Those are the worst, aren't they? If you like pina coladas, good morning, Simply Secular Dave. Ryan Cultastic. Yeah, man, I got a few of these to upcycle. That's cool. Yeah, you do that. I've seen some of your videos. You got some very interesting stopping points in your video. Hey, I need to watch that video again. I mean, I'm a guy who looks like he's into sewing, right?
I love sewing.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to watch this to support Ryan. I'm watching. I'm like, oh shit, I need to watch it again and again. Oh wow, Kelly, the Detroit Atheist King is here. Good morning, Kelly. I so enjoyed hanging out with you at the Ark Encounter protest. I did see your comment on Facebook. I thought I responded to it, but I had a lot of shit going on yesterday. Thank you. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Is this your first time? We think you'll be okay? Therapists are standing by if you need help.
They're not good though.
They're not very good. No, we're
not
very
qualified.
I think that's probably the problem. That's if you give them treats, they will. It helps. I was looking for my. So good morning, Lindsay Schwinger is here. Cryptic Peptide. Nice to see you again. I hope you're doing great. I love how silly Chris is. Yeah, I get it's a hippie speedball, weed, and caffeine. Actually, it's one of those rush
personality.
Yes. Effervescent. I have an effervescent personality.
Ooh, yes.
Yes. Big words. Bubbly, it's like an Alka-Seltzer. See, Alka-Seltzer.
You Alka-Seltzer.
That's the only decent example I can think of effervescent would be probably some kind of commercial I saw as a kid.
Yeah, isn't that interesting marketing, how it stays in your head like that?
It is. I wonder how that guy who was sitting there going, "Oh, what word fits that?" Effervescent. That'll fuck them up.
It's forever tied to fucking Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah.
Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is.
That's right. I remember being a little kid. I'm like 2 or 3. I terribly, barely remember this, and I barely remember. On the side of my dad's bed in the morning, my parents' bed in the morning, we'd, how kids are, they come in your bedroom and they wake you up and helping dad put his Alka-Seltzer in because he was out drinking the night before and he had a hangover. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Those are the days.
Ryan, Austin Sims says, just say stupid stuff like, have you ever seen a cow give birth to a non-cow? Of course not.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
interesting.
Wow.
Barry
Logic.
Manilow wrote that, Giles? That's interesting. I didn't know that. Fascinating.
What, the plop plop fizz fizz?
Yeah, apparently. That's I mean, if you
Stop
believe
it.
people on the internet. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't lie to you about what Giles told me.
You came and you gave without taking.
I know.
Well, now you know what? Now I need to hear Barry Manilow because I did enjoy Barry Manilow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've always enjoyed Barry Manilow. Do you remember when Barry Manilow came out and we're like, yeah, we know. Carry on.
Yeah, duh. No,
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
You know, that just makes me think. Why
that?
would you, as a straight woman or straight man, want Barry Manilow to marry your daughter? Like, if you were anti-gay. You know,
Money,
hey,
I
Barry
guess.
Manilow's a great guy. I'm
sure. Yeah.
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Barry, if you're watching.
But why would, you wouldn't want your daughter to marry him if he's gay? If he's not really into her, why would you want to doom her to a life of marriage to a man who's just marrying her because he's not allowed to marry the people he really wants to?
And if anybody wants a good video example of this, go watch Lionheart with Mel Gibson. There's King Longshanks's prince son who gets married off to a beautiful, beautiful Spanish woman played by, can't remember her name, she's very beautiful, but he's not really interested in her. He's interested in his boyfriend. And she ends up having kind of a really unfortunate marriage because of that. And, the complicated. But exactly what you're talking about in your story.
Yeah, I don't know what brought that up, but I was just like, yeah, he's a cool dude. Why the hell would you want to force your daughter to marry someone who's never going to love her?
I don't understand how this is what I'm not putting together. How did Barry Manilow, let me ask it like this, maybe this will be clarifying. Was some woman forced to be married to Barry Manilow?
No, it's just he's a famous guy. He probably was rich. There were probably women who thought he was good looking and loved how he, he's probably the kind of person who, like George Michael, like I thought he was gorgeous, you know what I'm saying? But George Michael was not interested in me. So although I would love to be with George Michael, why would you want to force a marriage between two people who are just not into each other?
Totally
but you know what? But I guess because marriage was always a thing of ownership and switching of property and business, it wasn't because of love. Like we've still not gotten out of that mentality, I guess.
Yeah, and oftentimes you don't necessarily, especially, this notion that you marry for love is new, recent for us. But in past times it was almost always for convenience like that. We see it like that, but I feel like in a real scenario like that, those two people would have gone, we still have to have babies together. Let's because that's their job. It's literally their job. They don't have to. There's a lot of things you do in your job that you don't really want to do, and that may be part of it. I just see is how many royals throughout history have been married to someone they weren't attracted to, but they still had to knock boots with them because
they had to keep keep that bloodline going, that pure bloodline.
Yes, and Austin Sims corrected me. I said Lionheart, I meant Braveheart. You're right, it was Braveheart. Braveheart's the movie.
I knew what you meant, but I did. Yeah.
Yes.
I knew what you meant. I know I do that all the time. I say the wrong word and I don't even know I did it.
I know. Yeah. Well, it all happens so fast. Well, I actually wrote down a little thing this morning. Kelly's. If we're going to talk about George Michael, let's just do this for a minute. The evil one. Kelly, good morning again. Thank you for joining us. Kelly says, I remember thinking the same thing about George Michael. Do you mean being attracted to George Michael, or do you mean wondering why someone would be attracted to him even though he's not?
I want him to be my
oriented.
father figure.
Right. Well, that's kind of a good question, but really, here's the thing. There are many people, and I know this, I'm not among those people, but there are many people who did not know that George Michael was gay. See, and that's kind of the thing. And the evil one was one of those. And she was very, very surprised. I mean, I'm pretty sure we were married. So she was in her 40s somewhere. I could be wrong, my memory, you know. But when she found out that he was gay, she was like, oh, yeah. But she really had a thing.
Yeah,
for
he
George
was.
Michael.
I don't think he was probably. You know, if you had put two side by side, you'd think that Barry Manilow would be the gay one, not George Michael. You know what I'm saying? But some people can pick it out. But yeah.
And then to find out they both are.
Yeah.
And then they start kissing when you put them side by side. Don't blame me. Chris mentioned Barry. I see it. Barry, yes. Jason, free biblical marriage is no good for me. I've got no room for goats. Oh, don't go knocking goats. Goats are cute. Soft, fuzzy. You know how it is. We don't judge goats. We don't. I can't pee if peeing is with the Pharaoh's curse. I can't pee. I'll end up in hers. You know, guys, I have to say it has actually been a while since I've hit you with the Pharaoh's curse. I'm going to right now for fun, just out of, I'm going to do it. We'll be right back just in a second.
Are you feeling the world is leaving you behind? Do you look at all the pseudoscience, rumors, and wild speculation on the internet and wonder,
do I have too much light? Should I close that?
I actually hit the wrong button. Did you know that? I did hit too much. Well, you know, if you could shutter it just a little. I'm back on us now for a moment, so keep your finger out of your nose. Just the timer is going to go out of whack for our Pharaoh's curse. So I screwed that up. I fat fingered it on my tiny little phone. I did it. And what'll happen is if I try to play it again in just a minute, it'll switch back to us right in the middle of the damn thing. So I don't want to mess it up. So we'll just kind of go back here on our stuff for just a moment. It is indeed Chris's fault. Grumpy Librarian, my wife, met Barry Manilow once. She was not impressed. That happens often. Sometimes you don't want to meet your heroes, you know. Not that they were heroes, but see, that's the thing. Rembrandt, everyone knew George Michael. Everyone knew. Anyway, I showed the Pharaoh's Curse to my elderly mother, and she loved it. You know, one of the things is, I've got the Pharaoh's Curses up on like Apple. You can buy it on iTunes. You can buy it on several different places. You can go search Pharaoh's Curse. And I went and checked, and I'm actually getting sales. Not a lot, but they're actually starting. The song is starting to sell. It's kind of cool.
Way to go.
I don't know. It's a catchy little tune. I didn't recognize or realize Gomer Pyle was gay too. Oh, yeah. You know, did you know the actor Jim Nabors? Jim Nabors was gay. Did you know he was a big singer? I mean, like opera kind of singer, Jim Nabors. Gomer Pyle.
I don't know if I knew that.
Oh, yeah. He was a big time.
Mi burrito es tan bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco bueno. It stings like a bee. They told me she was his sister. Now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse. There's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno. A full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me.
Okay, I knew I was going to screw it up. I screwed up the commercial. I fat fingered it. 1,000 apologies. We do have an interesting post here in the thing. Gray old dude. Surprise. They're laughing at me for fat finger in the commercial. I hope you got enough of it to get your kicks. Music by Brian 2024 says AI music is gay. I'm glad you like it. You know, we really kind of think highly of gay people around here. If you're trying to use the term gay as a slur, this is probably not the best place to do it. However, let's set that aside for just a brief moment. I can understand a person who does music would be offended by AI music. I feel you. I appreciate that. If your inadvertent homophobic slur, if your homophobic slur was inadvertent due to your high passions because I used AI in my music, then I will forgive you. Otherwise, you can just kind of fuck off with your AI. I'm just saying. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, because I don't really like homophobes so much. They're not very cool.
Yeah.
The kid on the bus who told Forrest Gump's seat is taken was my landlord in San Diego. Really? San Diego? Really? Swim. Good morning, Swim. Hope you're doing great. Let's see. You know, we have a poll. I'll kind of good morning, Bob and Poppy. Thank you for joining us. I think I missed no, it wasn't you. It was somebody else. I missed somebody else on the thing yesterday. I want to make a note here. I've got some things up here. Thank you for you people who've become members of the channel. We do have new emotes. I think, did I full blown AD&D? I really did. I ADD the second pink pickles. I've got a new pickles when you sent me the great pickles. It's wonderful. We've got new emotes. So if you are down, we got new Ryan emotes and we got new pickles emotes. I'll even have a newer pickles emotes tomorrow. We get 9 more members and we'll be able to get more emotes. We're at our limit now. 9 more members. Become a member. It's $1 a month. And, help us get to the place at the thing. Okay. I hate doing sales, but you got to do the thing. I can't hear you. Oh, you're gobbling them. That's right. There you go. We need the sound effects too,
We need like a chomp.
Yes. Well, just leave your microphone on as you do it. See?
Well, then I'd have to make the noise as I did it.
The noise.
I was trying to be silent so you didn't. So I wasn't making any noise, but I can make the noise.
That's right. Left-handed Jedi says, "Advanced Dungeons and Dragons." That's how it feels.
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Huh?
Yeah.
On what? Did I miss something?
Whenever we say we got ADD, our ADD is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. We dropped the H, see, because they don't really count the H anymore, so it's just ADD.
No, I thought everything was ADHD, not ADD anymore.
No, I think we got that. I think you have that exactly backwards.
Oh. At least,
yes,
my maybe she explained it wrong, but she said everybody is hyperactive.
I think I like being wrong. I am wrong. It says it is. Is it called A? Well, I guess now I'm getting different. I give it ADD. No, ADHD. This one says, all right. Well, I'm going to go with you. It looks like most of them say ADHD. Oh, I see why. There it says one is no longer a diagnosis.
This is how the woman I spoke to said. She said that everybody's hyperactive. It's just that some people are more physically hyperactive, whereas like you and me might be. Well, I don't know. You might be physically hyperactive too. I'm more mentally nowadays, but I still am fidgety. Yeah. I still have ways where I'm just like I can't be still. I'm hyperactive.
Right. Yes.
But I don't, maybe I misunderstood what she said. I don't know.
No, you're right. Well, see, that's why I thought they dropped the H. Why I put it? Because it applies to everyone, whether it's external or internal. Yeah, it's actually back. I had it backwards. They figured apply it to everybody because you are hyperactive, whether you're externally hyperactive or internally hyperactive.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, we'll have our little atheist ADHD corner segment of the show.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings me to, I want to ask you a question. Not that you have to share or anything. I mean, everybody remember this is a HIPAA show.
HIPAA.
But you recently got your crazy pills, and I was just curious how you're liking them so far. How are things? Do you feel any different?
So, am I feeling different? Maybe. Not sure. I literally have only taken it 3 times, so I'm not certain. I feel like maybe there's a possibility. I have been on an upswing of being more productive, so it's hard to tell as of yet. Today I'm going to do some editing because I was hoping to release a video by tomorrow. So we'll see how I do with the editing process, if there's any more focus or attention to detail or drive to want to finish it. So I'll let
Okay.
maybe tomorrow I'll have a better answer for you.
Good. Okay, got you. Glad to hear. I'm kind of eager myself to find out how it goes. So
Yeah, have
atheist.
you gotten yours yet?
No. I got to go turn in the paperwork
Okay.
today, and then I'm going to send in the paperwork and see. I mean, I'm hoping soon.
Oh, I hope so.
Soon.
Hope so.
Yeah.
I did all my stuff online
Did you?
for the most part.
Yeah.
I did the telehealth appointments, and then the only thing I had to do in person was the actual like ADHD test. I don't know what it's called, but the testing.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a lot easier
To make sure you didn't cheat.
I mean, probably, but I guess there's so much about you they want to read in person, and you
Right. I
physically
think
do stuff like you got to do like these things that like. I was like, oh man, am I stupid? Seriously, they're like blocks, and she would put like the shapes together to make a pattern or whatnot, and then you'd have the blocks yourself, and you'd have to match that pattern. And at first, like they're really easy. I'm like, yeah, bitch, I'm fucking smart. And then towards the end of it, I'm going, like my brain's just trying to figure out. I mean, I did it, but much more difficult.
Gotcha. Well, I didn't have to do that. They sent me home with four different tests. Two of them were for me. They're pretty much identical questions.
Okay.
One of them was for my wife or my spouse, somebody, who knows me now, who can kind of evaluate. They were all the same freaking questions every time. And then they also gave me one for someone who knew me when I was a child. So that one I gave that to my twin brother, and he actually, I contacted him, and he filled that. I think we talked about that yesterday on the show. So they gave us 3 different tests, and I took mine. I was like all excited. I took mine, and then Marty, my twin brother, sent me his answers to his. So I pulled out his paper and I filled out his, and halfway through it, I realized, oh shit, I'm filling out the wrong one. It's actually, I'm filling his information out on the wife's instead of on his form. And then I'm going back through the questions. Attention to detail. He has a problem with attention to detail. And I'm like, I gave myself a 5 on a scale of 1 to 4. I have a problem with attention to detail, apparently. So then I asked the evil one to go ahead. I asked her to go ahead and fill her part out in red ink so we could explain to the doctor what happened. Almost like evidence or proof of my ADHD.
Quite frankly, it's like, doctor, I have some other evidence for you. That I can't pay attention.
Yes. My focus is, but I'm really considering looking into giving up the cannabis. I'm considering giving up the cannabis.
I'm thinking possible. That's a possibility for me too, or just cutting back to maybe like bedtime, something like that. We'll see.
Maybe. Yeah, there you go. Instead of a constant medication for whatever the hell I'm medicating myself for. Some people say they medicate. So this cannabis is self-medication for ADHD, a form of self-medicating. That's what the evil one thought. You
may naturally find yourself wanting to not do it.
Yeah, I might. Let's see what else is going on in the chat here. Before they were hardcore 6-year old Earth. Now they're kind of saying, "Oh, hey, you're talking about that stuff."
You also asked me about the JWs and creationists and stuff like that.
Gotcha. John the Heretic is here. We have a clown leading the country. It's no wonder people are having mental challenges. The world is laughing at us. There are a lot of things I want to mention while we're kind of on this. We got through half the way and you figure out it showed you you're batshit crazy. Oh yeah. I noticed something. I've noticed kind of a pattern. Donald Trump has been going around, of course, lifting up and supporting other authoritarian fascist right-wing regimes. He was doing it with Orban before the election. Okay. And then before he got elected. Now, some of the things we could point out, I believe, and, I could get bashed. I'm not an anti-Semite. I'm an anti-Zionist and I'm anti-Netanyahu. And I believe that Netanyahu is a right-wing authoritarian dictator. Donald Trump is sucking up to him, helping him, supporting him, kissing his ass. They're kissing each other's ass. Netanyahu is actually putting Donald Trump up for the Nobel Peace Prize while Netanyahu secretly unalives, not secretly, openly unalives Gazans. by the dozens every day as they seek food and medical care. That's, it's now I've heard there's another, I think let me look here over here. It's a Brazilian. All right. So in Brazil, they had an election. They had a right-wing president. He lost to a more liberal candidate. What did he do when he lost? He denied it. He said it's a fake election. He says it was stolen from all this stuff. Donald Trump is backing him.
Mm.
Now, I don't mean Donald Trump is backing him by coming out and going, I think this guy's innocent. It's a witch hunt. It doesn't stop there. Donald Trump is, I think this is a witch hunt. You need to let him go, or we're going to impose a 50% tariff on your entire country. Right.
Wow.
And now I haven't really gotten to the part yet because I was going over it this morning just before the show. And I haven't figured out just yet if it's let him go, stop prosecuting him, because the guy tried to overturn his own election, just like Donald Trump did. And they're prosecuting him for that. And Donald Trump is saying, let him go, don't prosecute him? Or is Donald Trump saying that man actually won and you need to turn over office to him, and I'm going to give 50% tariff on your country? I haven't gotten there yet to figure out what he's trying to demand. But so far, the Brazilian leader has Lula actually told him to kind of fuck off. The one who won told him, you know what, we're a sovereign country. We don't need you. And I just kind of interesting. All this hit just, or at least I found these things just before we started the morning show. So
the bully being the police of the world.
Yeah. And then going around and bullying everybody. Donald Trump is the biggest terrorist on this planet. He uses threats, intimidation, financial and violence to attack and intimidate other people. He is the biggest terrorist on the planet. Punk Apostate is here. Sitting up takes too much out of me. What's wrong? What happened? Punk Apostate? Are you just lazy? What did you need to do? What did you do?
You okay?
Did you do something?
I don't know.
Are you okay? Bibi is a corrupt bastard. Israel deserves better. Yeah, that's a complicated deal, but I'm absolutely going to see. Bibi is Israeli. I know I'm not going to say this regionally correct, but he's just the Israeli version of Trump. He's not as weird, but that's just the same thing. He's right-wing MAGA and just as willing to unalive people. I mean, he's a modern-day Jewish Hitler. I said it.
He is. And he's an atheist too. So it's not even about like
Benjamin
Judaism.
Netanyahu is an atheist?
Yes.
I thought he was a Jew. I thought you had to be.
Yes. Well, yeah, he's a Jew.
Well, I mean, I thought you had to be a member of a believer in that faith in order to be the president of that nation. No?
He is an atheist. And you can tell. If you listen to how he talks, you can tell. Because he refers to like...
Yeah.
He refers to like the Bible a lot versus referring to like the Tanakh or the Torah, which is what most people who are Jewish would do, because the Bible was more of like a Christian premise versus, I'm not saying that Jewish people don't say the Bible, but it's a little bit different than what Christian Bible is. So yeah, there's just little tells. There's little tells in there.
Understood. Well, I get what you're saying now. I understand. He's a Jew like Trump is a Christian.
Well, he's Jewish. He's born, I guess, to people who are like Jewish,
culturally Jewish, religiously.
Right, he's just not. Yeah, he doesn't believe in Judaism, but he realizes that he can utilize it to his benefit.
Yes. So let's take away the cultural aspect, because that's where we keep getting the bump. Religiously, though, he's not a Jew, just like Trump is not really a Christian. You hear him try to talk about it, and you can clearly go, "Oh my God, this man knows nothing about what he's talking about." I understand.
Exactly. Holding up the fucking Bible upside down, not calling it what did they call it? 2 Corinthians or what? I don't know.
Corinthians.
Whatever. Weird. We were like, okay, Trump.
Yeah. Good morning. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Cool name. Nice to see you. Let's see what you have to say. I think he does that for the evangelicals. He may. Yeah. He may. And, I've been mentioning on this show that Donald Trump is preparing to overthrow our country. In our next election, he's going to try to use Christians to get their vote. And he's been doing a lot of things, sucking up to the Catholics. Now he's kind of screwed up with the Catholics a little bit, but he's sucking up to the evangelicals, the nationalists, the Christian nationalists, all this business. And now the IRS, of course, under Donald Trump's command, as you can possibly imagine, I'm sure it doesn't say that anywhere, but you can figure it out. The IRS has made it to where they will no longer punish churches for openly promoting politicians from the pulpit. So literally, we're now going to have churches where they're going to come out and literally tell their flock to go vote for Donald fucking Trump.
Wow.
Openly. Now, before they've kind of done it, but at sort of the risk of losing their tax exempt status. My mustache is giving me grief this morning.
Right. But you know what? I think I said this before. I mean, I should double check my facts. I'm not certain, but I'm pretty certain that Locke is the only person in recent history who has lost his Greg Locke lost his tax exempt status. So yes, it's on the books that they should lose their tax exempt status, but they still have been doing it. But now, like you said, there's no risk. They don't have to worry. I didn't know about that. There's literally there's so much happening. I can't even.
Right. It's so much. And, you know, there are more, I've been noticing more investigations into the elections. Other states all the swing states are reporting issues with irregularities with the voting counts, all this other business. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are still blowing up at each other. Elon Musk is now accusing, who was it? Is it Steve Bannon? He's accusing somebody else of being actually in the Epstein files. I don't think
I have heard that Steve Bannon has been accused. Now I don't know where that came from, but I have heard Steve Bannon's on there. He allegedly, Steve, you know, I won't get my ass in trouble, says that he was only there because he's doing like documentary stuff as journalist. So his relations with Epstein is only because of, you know, journalist things.
Yeah. I wonder if they have any. Really, Steve Bannon's a journalist? Huh. I mean, okay. Anyway, Nikki, good morning. Nikki says MAGA is the fifth and highest degree in the Church of Satan.
Who?
MAGA's female, male. Oh, I got you. Not the. I want to say those are good MAGA. Oh. Let's not taint those MAGA by associating them MAGA. Vic Lit, though, hasn't it? Because, you know, you even said check your facts. You know, you need to check your facts on this. So Vic Lit may be helping us out on this. Vic says, I thought Greg Lott's was because his church was officially classified as a hate group.
Oh,
and that's why
maybe I have
tax status. So
maybe.
I wonder, you know, clearly, though, not enough of them were prosecuted for it. But now, though, I mean, how many of them really, though, we got to ask ourselves, literally, how many of them didn't do it only because they were afraid their little church possibly could be, you know, really now they're not going to have that problem. They're just going to openly be for Donald Trump. Here's the deal. The battle for our democracy is going to be a fight against Christianity.
Mm-hmm. It really is. We are fighting the monster, this evil force that has been the occupier. They have been the ones occupying our mind, our land. I mean, everything that we do. But they will point the finger at other religions and say how evil they are for all of the terrible things, and they kill people and gay people. And meanwhile, you are the ones who are putting people's lives in danger, as we can see what is going down in this country. They are the evil. They are the ones who want, like, there's got to be an equal to Sharia law for Christianity. What does Sharia mean? There's got to be an equal so we can, like, name them specifically the zealots Christianity, because I don't think zealot does it enough. And I don't even know that extremists really nails the coffin closed.
Vic has clarified even more, saying Vic was wrong. I love it when people say actually do research and find out they were wrong. Says I am incorrect. The internet says, because you can't gotta believe the internet, says it was a political campaigning violation investigation. And but
Well, that's what you get for trying to correct a goddess, Vic.
That's right. That's right.
No, I'm glad I know that now. Thank you for telling us.
But you have since nobody else really, to my understanding, has ever really found themselves being put under that penalty, it makes you wonder. His must have been very severe. He must have really been bad in order for him to be like the only one to ever face that.
He is a freaking oh my god, he is a freaking Christian terrorist.
Absolutely.
The stuff that comes out of his mouth, it terrorizes families.
Yes. Let me do a thing.
Pardon me.
I'm just making a note. Good morning. I got to say hello. John the Heretic is here. Christian nationalist. I like calling them national Christians.
National Christians?
We can just shorten it. Yeah, I call them Nazis if you want.
Nazis. Oh, Nazis. Okay.
Yeah, Nazis.
Yeah, Nazis.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue. All they're missing is the freaking armbands.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't come soon.
That's true. Punk Apostate says, damn, that was the only little gap in law that has kept our politics fully descending into 100% cult manipulation. I know, right? And then it's not like they were actually using it. It was the threat that they would actually have to face the loss of their tax exempt status. So true enough. I want to mention Jesus Unfollower is here. He is another content creator. Go check it out, his channel. Go subscribe. I don't know how many. I forgot how many subscribers he has. I would like to. I don't know. Let's go give him more. Jesus Unfollower. I just by the name, I think you get the idea that he's probably on the same page as us.
I don't think that he follows Jesus.
I think
I just had to take a stab at it.
A guess, blind guess, shot in the dark. Left-handed Jedi, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Did you see the exchange between Crockett and Dershowitz? It's a takedown of epic proportions. No, I did not. Let me make a note on that too, because I enjoy watching those. Crockett.
I love Crockett.
Once I go watch it, I may go, oh yeah, I've seen it. And Dershowitz.
She is just on point. I would not want to be in her lane of fire.
Yeah. There are people like Crockett, and really, in my eyes, it's Crockett, AOC, and Bernie Sanders.
That would
I don't
be.
really see
I would
anybody else.
go there.
Yeah, all the rest of them, and I mean, Hakeem Jeffries has done some good things. He's really done. He's tried. There's only so much he can do technically. The fact that he now is the record holder, like he held the floor that one time longer than a racist. Remember the person who had held it the longest was.
I did a TW on that. Yep, exactly.
Oh yeah.
So I think that was good, at least for that, just to have broken the record.
And he's
Thank
trying.
God that's off the books.
Yeah, he's trying. They're trying. There's only so much they can do, and they're bought out now. They're not bought out. They're so overwhelmed by the money on the right. It's just pathetic. The advertising money all that stuff. It's just fantastically horrible. Sapphic Hazard says, just saw the article about MAGA Chud who beheaded his own father. Yikes. Yes, I saw that.
What?
Yeah. A MAGA person unalived his own father and removed the top of him. Took his lid off.
Wait, excuse me? When was this?
I don't know. Recently, like a week or within the last week, I do believe. That's why Hakeem. That's why I'm trying to want to say Hakeem Jeffries has done some good things. In a way, it's just that he doesn't have the personality we need that people are going to fall behind. He doesn't have the personality that's going to be required. I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the Democrats. I feel like they've been a little silent, but I mean,
you're right.
I understand that they're what we have. So to some extent, like if I try to alienate them, is that really going to help my cause? You know what I mean? True. So I try to be a straight shooter when I talk about them, but if I can support them in some way to take the leaps to be more loud or whatever they need to do, then, let us freaking know, brah.
Absolutely. If they're willing to do it. Part of the deal, like I think here's and I'm going to now, some of these Democrats are stepping up and they're going, Donald Trump is this and Donald Trump is that. And he's a liar and he's this and this and this. So now they're up there and they're going, ooh, but it's too late, man. It's too late. The other guys they're punch drunk. They're already beaten. Back before, whenever Donald Trump, whenever they really needed to be those things, they were going, oh, he's misspeaking. He misspoke. These are, what do they call them? He misremembered. These are, not alternative facts. That's not our side. There's another one. Let me do this thing here. It's called, I have a whole video and I watched this video. I got to watch the video. A 1 minute thing.
We really need to stop with this falsehoods nonsense. These are lies spouted by who? Liars. And they need to be called out as such and shamed for their what? Their lies. When Trump's campaign began is when the rain of lies began falling down upon us. But oddly, people suddenly didn't want to call them lies anymore. They were falsehoods being told by the president. When the news started calling out his lies, he called it fake news, or as the Nazis called it, der Lügenpresse, or the lying press. Kellyanne Conway dubbed the term alternative facts to describe the lies being told by the Trump administration. But honest people knew what they were. Lies. Outright, bald-faced, look you in the eyes while stabbing you in the back lies. The president's lies have cost our nation trillions in treasure and hundreds of thousands of American lives. So stop softening it and calling them falsehoods. He didn't misspeak. He didn't misremember. He lied.
So what I'm saying is that's a falsehood. That's a deal. But I mean, that's the word I was looking for. The Democrats, during the campaign and all that stuff. I mean, stop, you're bad. Now they're like, oh man, you're really a Nazi. But they should have been going, you're a Nazi 6 years ago when I made that video comparing him to Donald Trump. But they weren't. They weren't. And that's why I made that video, because anytime you went on the news or you went there, they're going, the president, he's got his falsehoods or whatever. They were always falsehoods, or they were, they weren't anything but calling him a fucking liar. And I actually saw one old guy call him a liar to his face, asking him, hey, how do you feel about being such a liar and lying to the people all the time? There's a video. You can find that on there. He's probably in a ditch somewhere. Peach cobbler is blessed, says Giles. That's kind of out of left hand, but that's cool. Reminds me of Night Watch for Babylon 5. Absolutely. Night Watch really called this stuff out. I hope, I don't want to say I hope. That there's a similar ending. If you know how it ended for President Clark, I think it was President Clark was his name. President Clark, somebody like our Donald Trump, overthrew their government in the show. And whenever they tried to, the people were turning on him and pulling him out of office, he went full-blown scorched earth and was going to unleash their own weapons on earth to kill everyone. If he couldn't have it, nobody could have it. But it didn't work. The good guy stopped him and he ended up eating a bullet at his desk. Darn. I wonder how prescient that could be. How do you say things without saying things? Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Let me go over here. Unfollower, Jesus unfollower. I saw a dude on Threads say that he got AI to translate Hitler, and what he said wasn't that bad. Well, one of the things about Hitler was he was a pretty good speaker when speaking to those people. The German people had been broken by years of financial, they had to pay restitution for World War I. So their economy was destroyed. They were, here comes Donald Trump. Here comes Adolf Hitler going, let's make Germany great again. Let's, and unlike America, where we weren't oppressed and Donald Trump managed to use billions of dollars in misinformation to falsely lead the people of America to believe that they were being oppressed by immigrants and all this. Unlike that, though, they were really being oppressed. But, the world kind of had put that on them, and it made it easy for Hitler's song to be listened to by these people who were really having a hard time getting through. Now here in America, you've got these jackasses driving 9-foot tall fucking Ford trucks with wheels as big as I am and all these things and big, huge Trump flags. You cannot say these people, or at least yet, are financially disparaged like the people of Germany were before World War II. At
Yeah, not
least
yet.
they
Anyway,
had that excuse.
What's
Right
your
wing
excuse?
trash does not have that excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So Freudian slip. Good morning, Jesus and follower again. Sean Alexander is here. Yay, I've made it. I missed a few shows. You have. We missed you, fellow Star Trek nerd. Live long and prosper.
Yep.
Bob, we've gone weep ninny bond. Nice to have you. The trusty ape is here. Al Franken wrote his book Lies and the Lying Liars Who Tell Them. We should have elected that guy. You know, that's right. That's the whole thing with the conservative party. You know, Al Green was making a joke, or Al Franken, I'm sorry, was making a joke with that lady. It was a consensual joke they were making. He didn't even touch her. She was wearing body armor, if I'm remembering, she was wearing and so that cost him his political career. And yet Donald Trump paid for a prostitute, paid to have sex with a porn star with campaign finances. How did that not end his political career forever? How did that not end his political career forever? You know?
I mean, it almost ended, or practically ended, or did end Clinton's when he got a blowjob in the Oval Office. Like, I don't see how they don't have those same standards when it comes to their hero, Trump.
That's right. It's absolute hypocrites. They are the biggest hypocrites. And also, of course, the projection. You know, we go on about that all the time. Mm-hmm. Let's see here, because Clinton was popular. You know, one of the things I always kind of thought about Clinton was he really did a good job. And I, in my youth, thought it was because he was always on the run because he was in trouble, trying to get out of that trouble. So he was doing good things to make the country look better so they wouldn't think about the blowjob and all these things. Not really realizing at the time that he was just a Democrat applying Democratic policies across the country, and that alone did better for our country. Every time a Democrat is in office, our country gets better, and all these things, by every measure, it gets better. And I didn't really take those two into accommodate. Now, they're not mutually exclusive. They can both be true. He could be implementing Democratic policies just because that's how we are, or Democrat left-wing policies, you know what I mean? Because they're a different kind of Democrat than I, but you know what I mean? They could be a combination of that, and they was on his ass.
Yeah.
So he was really trying hard to be a good president. What's that?
A little bit of both, maybe.
Could be a little bit, yes. Clinton today was kind of compared to liberal. Yeah, I mean, that's complicated. Our world has changed a lot since Clinton was the politics has changed a lot. It's kind of,
it has.
Let me do a thing here. Wow, we're getting almost to the top of the hour. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some goat candles at people, and then whenever we get back, we're going to do Theocracy Watch.
All right.
Let's see what's going on there. All right, here we go. Don't fat finger it, old man.
Have you sinned again? Oh, and it's bad this time. A chicken just won't do. But wait, you don't have a goat for your burnt offering. Oh, no. The Lord's wrath is upon you.
Insignificant person whose name I don't know, you have sinned. Probably. I shall smite thee.
What do you do? You're all out of goats. She left you for another man.
Fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles.
No goat? No problem. Just light one of these bad boys and let the sweet, savory scent of burning goat flesh rise up to the heavens.
Is that goat?
It's easy, it's fast, and deluxe models even have patented technology that produces a goat screaming sound as the wick burns.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented candles. Save a goat, burn a candle.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles are part of our You Do You Jew interfaith outreach program.
When you sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. When the Lord requires that pungent smell, light a candle or you're going to hell.
My hands are still wet.
All right, we are back. Vic Litt says the main issue was Al Franken had 8 other claimants of sexual harassment. I don't know if Leanne Tweeden consented, and she said the pic. So apparently it's all fuzzy. You should go look that shit up. Don't listen to me. But here's let's take that into account. Let's imagine that he actually did have 8 other complainants of sexual harassment. Okay, Donald Trump has been found liable of sexual assault. And Donald Trump has got 34 felony convictions for his attempt to overthrow the government or overthrow the election. So what Al, if you weigh a feather in your heart, you've got Donald Trump, a big piece of shit over here, and Al, the differences are fantastic. And then Tyler Dyson says, no, Biden was trash in office. Our economy was fantastic when Biden left office. I mean, things could be better. There are things to be said about Biden. I'm not a full Biden supporter, none of that business. But Donald Trump literally destroyed our economy, and he shifted probably trillions, at least hundreds of billions of dollars from the poor to the rich. And the fact that, I would almost think that you're either completely ignorant or you're literally a Russian bot. And because they really do still have them. Have you seen it? We should go look on the internet. I should do a video on that about how many, they'll have farms of phones out there just sitting racks and racks and racks and racks of phones. And each phone is an AI bot that's in there arguing with people in the name of Trump. And spreading misinformation and spreading lies. It's
so
horrific.
many hours wasted arguing
Russian
with a
bot.
freaking AI.
Right. Yeah.
Or somebody being paid to just be somebody who disrupts people.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Rembrandt. Good morning, Rembrandt. The 34 felonies was this hush money scandal. There you go. There you go. Thank you. There were more to come. I appreciate that. The hush money scandal. Just the hush money scandal. Good girl. Way to go. I see it now. Y'all see Ryan going after that?
I got one.
You got one. Awesome.
I did.
There you go. There you go. Awesome sauce on you. Do you guys believe in the supernatural at all? That's an interesting question. I'm gonna, for me, say no. Really, it's kind of, not if you mean like a God, supernatural, no. I believe in technology that I might see as, but I'm never going to believe in a God of the Bible or any of that business. I could actually believe, because our brains work on electricity, bioelectrical signals. I don't know how stuff works. Could telepathy be possible? Could our brains actually pick? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know, but I want to find a scientific explanation for it rather than just going, there's this magic God or whatever that's doing things. You know what I mean? I'm more into my science.
Yeah,
I don't believe in
agnostic.
magic.
I don't believe in a God. I really don't. What could be out there? I don't necessarily know. Nothing has ever been proved to me is what I can say.
Right. I know, right. They haven't been able to prove that. And Kelly says, I was not a Biden fan either. However, Trump is so much worse. So true. We could just give so many examples of Trump. Trump came in and Trump literally put people in who don't know how to do their jobs in very, very important roles. Look at what Donald Trump did with just the CDC. Just the CDC and the Department of Health with this freaking whack job worm brain Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That alone, individual, if you're watching, that alone was a travesty upon our nation. To think Biden was somehow worse than that. Hi, Sadie. Did the wind scare you? So Trump makes Nixon look like a saint. Very true. I'm going to take this moment here before we get too far, and I'm going to go ahead and run this Theocracy Watch button. Let's see what happens. We'll be back in just a second. Let's do the thing.
You're tuned into the Atheist Morning Show on the Dan Network. And this is Theocracy Watch.
27 girls drowned at a Bible camp while lawmakers who preached family values bragged about cutting the very flood warning budgets that might have saved them, then blamed somebody else. The irony is as deep as the river that swept away those innocent lives. Welcome back to Theocracy Watch, where we expose the gap between Christian nationalist rhetoric and its real-world consequences. Recently, that gap became wide enough to swallow whole cabins in the Guadalupe River. In the early morning darkness of July 4th, a preventable wall of water raced through Texas Hill Country, 18 inches of rain in 36 hours. The region's third 100-year flood in 5 years sent the Guadalupe 2 stories high, ripping through cabins from their stilts. At least 120 Texans have died, including 27 girls and 2 counselors from Camp Mystic, an elite Christian camp where tuitions run about $4,500 a week. Parents and pastors still keep vigil on muddy banks while search teams comb the debris for the missing. Emergency laws show a National Weather Service forecaster phoned Kerr County at 9:47 p.m. on July 3rd, urging an immediate flash flood alert because the San Antonio Forecast Office was running a skeleton crew, part of a 17% staffing shortfall after a $220 million NOAA, or NOAA as it's known as, hiring freeze. The alert didn't reach cell phones until 3:57 a.m. Kerr County's own flood siren program, defunded in 2022, offered no backup. At the federal level, the brand new Big Beautiful Bill slashes FEMA disaster relief and mitigation accounts by $3 billion over 10 years. This bill, which was touted as a beacon of fiscal responsibility, actually undermines our nation's ability to respond to disasters. It keeps another pot fully stacked to reimburse Florida's alligator Alcatraz, or alligator Auschwitz as we like to call it, ICE camp at $450 million a year. Money flows to punishment programs. Radar techs and flood map grants go begging, and without. Christian nationalist politicians hailed those cuts as biblical thrift, then pointed the finger when that river came. Here's some quotes for you. First, the self-congratulation, and then the blame. And I quote, "By trimming bloated agencies like FEMA and NOAA, we're putting money back where it belongs, in the American families' pockets." This was the claim from Rep. Dan Crenshaw in May, but the reality was a different story. The money saved from those cuts did not end up in the pockets of American families, but rather in the coffers of other government programs. And I quote, "FEMA's budget needed discipline. Texans know how to take care of their own." Senator Ted Cruz from July 1st. Here's Senator Ted Cruz from July 6th. "We'll hold the Biden administration accountable for any gaps in forecasting." Here's another quote. "The Big Beautiful Bill delivers biblical stewardship and true fiscal responsibility," from Greg Abbott on June 27th. And then later, here's Abbott saying, "State crews responded within minutes. Any delay in warnings is for federal agencies to explain." I don't know. The very lawmakers who crippled FEMA and NOAA in the name of Christian economics now scold those same agencies for warnings that never reached the camp. They whittled away the national storm watching apparatus, or the Ark, that was meant to carry everyone through the flood, then blamed the deluge for the holes in their own knives carved. Trim the Ark and blame the flood. That's the cost of preaching thrift while tossing lifeboats overboard. And it's proof that these guys only preach repentance. It's proof that the only repentance these leaders practice is passing the buck. So I would just like to say that we extend our deepest sympathies to everybody who's lost somebody in Texas or anyone else who is suffering at the hands of this administration. So please keep calling your legislators, and of course, stay curious.
Thank
Sad
you for
situation. That. Really, really terrible that this
it really is.
Could have been, we don't know. We can't tell the future, but it's likely it could have been prevented.
It could have been prevented. Dade Murphy is in the house. Thank you, Dade Murphy. Dade says, excuse me. I just don't have the vocal range for that.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
And Dade has gifted 5 memberships to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. We're getting closer to being able to get more emotes. Thank you very much for that, Dade. I appreciate you.
4 away, I think.
Something it'll tell. I can look later. It takes a little delay. Yeah. So we'll see. It was 13 yesterday before I started the show. So we're getting.
Okay.
I want to mention, for those of you who want to or would like to download a copy of the Ark Encounter protest. So all right. So I streamed it, and the stream was Wi-Fi, or was on my hotspot, and it wasn't very good. If you watch the stream version, there's a lot of freezing and all that. I actually recorded it. as well. So I'm going to, I've loaded a link to the recorded version up in my Google Drive, and you can find that link in the chat of the show here. So any of you out there who want a link of this, to download a copy of that, you can go there and you can download a better version of my recording of the Ark Encounter protest. I will also go get them. My staff,
I heard
there's a meeting outside when the trash truck shows up.
Scooby-Dooing.
Yes, that's what they were doing. So what was I talking about?
Watching the full video if you'd like. You have
Yes,
that, you
thank
said.
you. I'm also going to upload.
Did you say? Sorry.
Yes, there's a link in the chat at the very top that says, there's a link where you can download the video if you're one of those people out there who want a copy of it, because the streamed version is not very good. The audio is great, but it's the streamed video, right? So you get what you get. But this is a better version video wise. I'm going to go ahead and upload this one, and then I'm going to reach out to I'm going to upload it to YouTube for its own thing. And then I'm going to reach out to other people who have copies to fill in the gaps where there's black spots. And I'm going to release stuff on my channel and give other people. I'm going to go ahead and drop a copy for Dade Murphy, because Dade Murphy was there. I threw him up on stage. It was great. Me and the wife watched it yesterday.
That part. I have to finish your live. I only saw like half of the live. I need to finish it. I want to finish that.
Gotcha. It was a lot of fun. Let me go over here. I did have notes about what's going on here about pardon me. Thank you for the date. Thank you for the memberships and all that. Back to what we were talking about with the kids and the flooding. I want to mention a couple of things. One of the things is Kristi Noem is personally responsible for delaying the response. So I did a little thing here. I searched, did Kristi Noem delay the FEMA response to the deals? So I'm going to read this out to you, my friends. Please. According to CNN, the deployment of urban search and rescue teams to Texas was delayed by over 72 hours. 24, 48, you know what I mean? This is a long time. And why was it delayed? Not being authorized until Monday, well after the flooding began mid-weekend. Now, this delay reportedly stemmed from a new rule requiring Kristi Noem to personally approve any FEMA spending exceeding $100,000. Okay, so the reason why they didn't get to do this is because they couldn't get her ass on the fucking weekend. It was the weekend. I don't know why they couldn't get her ass on the weekend, but it was delayed because, I mean, surely that somebody tried, hey, we need to do this.
Can is something wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? Because me as a person, I'd be like, hi, I'm like the second down from Kristi Noem, and fuck her, and I'm gonna send you out. And you guys, you can bill me later. How about you bill me the fuck later? I maybe I'm crazy. Is there something wrong with me? Because I would say fuck Kristi Noem and send the goddamn help.
Right. Her lieutenant, her first officer, her whatever should have done something. Somebody, you know why they didn't though? My suspicion is because at this point they're so full of sycophants who are just willing to toe the religious part, bootlickers willing to toe the party line.
Please, Miss Kristi Noem.
You know,
can I shoot your dog for you, Miss Kristi Noem?
And you know how conservatives are all about blame and all this other business, but now all of a sudden Ken Paxton is like, hey, Democrats trying to lay blame now. That's really pathetic. Now, wait a second. Yeah, it's not blame. We're not laying blame, my friend. We're trying to find accountability. That's the difference. Accountability and blame. Sometimes they look alike.
What is the point of you being this amazing Christian? Oh, sorry, did I do Christian? Right. Like Dade Murphy said, you being this great Christian, but yet you won't hold yourself accountable like you expect everybody else to do when it comes to their sins. Well, honey, this is a big ass sin, and you just killed a bunch of people.
Absolutely.
So,
but was it biblical of her to do it by a flood? Was it biblical of her to allow children to die by a flood? Does that make it okay in the right wing's eyes? I mean, a lot of people think the Bible is like love and mercy and stuff, but people, whenever they do what Kristi Noem did in that case, she is living a biblical life. She's following the example of God.
And we know that. We know that to be the truth. We just know that they purport to be some kind of, God-fearing, love everybody, treat people with respect, love thy neighbor type spiel, but it's just not.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know. It's, now we got an idea though. We now have, ICE has got more funding, I believe, than like the FBI. It's the list is extensive.
Yeah, there some countries, their budget is bigger. Yeah. And meanwhile, we won't send send help to people.
Right.
We can't even warn them.
Right. Now, I'm sure they built a 300-bed emergency campus in Texas.
Get the fuck out. I'm fucking. You're crazy, Chris.
It only took them 8 days to do it in Florida with a prison camp. And yet, where's that money and help for? Now, my understanding is that, correct me anybody if I'm wrong, but Stephen Miller, it's his goal to be able to remove 1 million people a year from the United States, and that's why they're going for this. That's what they're financing. What does immigration and customs have to do with me and you? Anything? Why would immigration? No, I'm not an immigrant. I'm a naturalized citizen. Immigration, go the fuck away. You have nothing to do with me. And I'm not bringing anything into the country. I'm not taking anything out of the country. I'm not having anything to do with customs, with border security. That's your fucking job, immigration and customs. So why are they going after naturalized American citizens? They have zero right. That's not even within their bailiwick. And yet Donald Trump is raising this, essentially an army. It's an army he's raising.
It's his
historically, that's what we would call them: the Gestapo, the SS, the brown shirts. It just depends on which level they are. If you're a MAGA hat, you're a brown shirt. If you don't know what that means, go look it up. You'll figure it out. You'll see the similarities. You can actually go ask any chat that's not Grok. Ask any chat and go, listen, can you compare Trump to Hitler's rise in power and what he's doing now? And if it were the same, and it'll tell you this is where we are in Hitler's overthrow of the Reichstag or the Weimar Republic and all that business. We're at this point. There's a point. Hitler tried to overthrow the German government. Got thrown in jail for it. Trump didn't get thrown in jail for it, but the similarities. Rembrandt says ICE isn't quite as bad as the Gestapo was. Rembrandt, there's a spectrum, my friend, if you will. There was a point where the Gestapo wasn't as bad as the Gestapo got. See, that's what we're saying. The ICE probably isn't quite yet, but they will be.
They can be. If we just look at the trajectory, I don't know why I'm on that.
Headed that way.
Like trajectory. Yeah, and I understand I don't want to incite fear where there is no place to be fearful, because that's just more of like being in a cult and doomsday prophesying and, almost creating like your manifest destiny, right? Like they're almost manifesting that kind of apocryphal destiny. But I think that we should be mindful that these patterns are traceable, and just seeing their behavior, what they've even said themselves. Like, we're not even putting words into their mouths. They've said these things themselves. And you can even look at their historical posts on Twitter. There's so many things that we can do to research how these people are. That gives us an inkling that, hey, we might need to start recognizing these patterns, and they are on that. They're headed on that directory. The fact that people are now in this country are starting to dress up as ICE and try to kidnap people because they know that ICE is untouchable. Like the fact that they're unquestionably able to just walk through these streets, and they have the directive to pick up anybody they want to. If they they brown enough or seem suspect to be an immigrant, that's terrifying. To anybody should be terrified, but more specifically, probably anybody who's a little brown.
Absolutely. Rembrandt, Brent A says, I'm not sure. You guys got a conversation going. If you guys like to understand how this country will end up, in a couple of years, go and speak with immigrants that have had to leave their country, not because fear, but because they saw the decline of theirs. No doubt. No, we see this. Some of us see it. I see it. You know, I wish my wife were watching. I wish we had the finances and the circumstances and the situation. Here's my thinking. I haven't really shared this with her. I had this notion the other day. The United States at this point is not worthy of me. It's not. If I could live somewhere else and be a citizen of another place, there are better places than the United States. Now I'm here. I need to stay here, stick out my vote and all that. I'm just saying, at this point, this country they have formed is unworthy of me. It's not.
I mean, it's almost like human nature to in your mind say, like, damn, I've been lied to and this isn't what I was told it was.
Right.
You know, to some, and I can under fucking stand that. I certainly understand it.
Well, you know, we're kind of old enough to remember, you know, the old style U.S. government, you know, it too was not perfect. It was corrupt and had its problems and stuff like that. But at least one thing you could say about the old U.S. government was that it had the United States' best interest in mind. Even if it would hurt its own citizens for that interest, it had the United States' interest in mind. But Donald Trump and these modern day MAGAs, they don't. They're purely about persecuting others. It's if McCarthy had ever become president and became a full-blown, let his, you know, remember how McCarthyism was, where they were arresting liberals and arresting actors and slapping them with fake charges and all this bullshit back in the 40s and 50s or whatever. Yeah.
Right,
If missing,
we're headed towards that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're headed towards that, I said.
Yeah. I was telling the wife, you know, really the way things are going really sucks. But if we can survive this next wave and get to the light that's on the other side, I think we'll be better off. It's just, I'm just waiting to find out nobody's going to save us but us. So,
I mean, I hope so. I mean, it usually gets bad before it gets better, as with any change. I think that's pretty typical historically anyway, I'd say. Even just personal, right? You know, any personal changes, sometimes it's really difficult, but then eventually you're thankful that you did it.
True. Vic Litt, thank you for sharing channels of the people. We have a new person in the chat. Vic, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's the Jesus Unfollower, I believe is the name. I hope I got that right. Mm-hmm. He has a channel and he's new to me, and I subscribed to him yesterday. And, you know, if you're shouting out channel people and you're not aware of him, you might look him up and give him a channel if he's still here. John the Heretic, I'm a native born American. I'm a veteran. I will not leave my country. Not willingly, but now Donald Trump has made it to where they can he's working on making it. He's openly spoken about making it to where he can literally pick you up despite all those honorable traits of you as a patriotic American from birth and ship you off to literally another country, not just a prison camp in our own country, but to fucking Sudan or Venezuela
And some people seem to be okay with that, even at their demise. We talked about the guy whose wife, I think, is Iranian, and I think they have like 4 or 5 kids here, and she got deported. I don't know where she got deported to, but I doubt she's going back. They're taking her back to Iran. And he's like, yeah, I'd still vote for Trump. The father, the husband, like, you're demented.
Yeah.
Again, I hope your kids hate you. I don't even care. I hope your kids hate you for what you've done.
I really believe there's got to be some kind of mental sickness whenever people want to see other people hurt more than what they want to see beneficial for themselves.
Yeah.
Now, there's that mental sickness that I want to find out what we can call that and identify it, give it a name. There's also $1 billion worth of misinformation misguiding these people. So a lot of it could be simply misguided. With the education, they've been right-wing Christian conservative people have been chipping away at the education system for decades, you know, and then now that they've given these people spread out misinformation at the tune of billions of dollars. No wonder, you know, our people are so.
But you know what? The difference, I think, Chris, the main difference between people like you and I and those in our audience is we still have that empathy and compassion for people who lack it.
Yeah.
We still make excuses for them while they're being fed in misinformation and right,
true.
like we still try to see their humanity, and that's something that they're unable to do.
Yeah.
To be educated or stupefied right out of your humanity while claiming to be righteous is truly an American dream. I think that might be what the American dream is.
It's crazy. You know, as the older we get and the more I find out how much driven our history is by Christianity and stuff like that, it's crazy. I find our own history to be our own. The United States is not the Captain America I thought it was when I was 8 years old at all, you know? But then nowadays, like I say, we've even got Donald Trump specifically marrying himself. He's selling us out to religion intentionally. I mean, no other president has. I mean, Reagan, in a way, kind of held the hand of Christians. He kind of led a little bit of that. You could say George Bush did some of that whenever he created that one office of
the faith
office or some bullshit like that. He created
the faith office, and then now Trump has reignited it. Yeah.
Right. And he's reignited that and created his own office of making sure Christians aren't getting oppressed kind of bullshit. So this has just been chipping away, getting bigger and bigger and bigger by right-wing Christian conservatives for decades.
It is all like, this is the trickle down. It wasn't trickle down economics. It was trickle down Reaganomics.
Yes. Whose Discord are you joining in there, Ryan?
Say what? Dade said the ambushed apostate had a Discord, and I said I want to join the Discord.
Oh, okay. He's in my server. I got him. I finally got him on the server.
Finally.
Yes. John Hudson, democracy in the USA must survive. The prosecutions will be delicious. Now, somebody just said something a minute ago about, I was just thinking how fast things change. That's close, Ember. Then we hit the 1950s and everything froze. Why do they think that's good? I don't know why they think that's a good year to go back to. Here it is. Chris Wilson says, Eric Swalwell is calling for a special presidential crimes commission to go after everyone that enables Donald Trump. He just got my vote in 2028. Eric Swalwell.
Who's this person?
He's a left-wing
politician. He sounds familiar. I just can't place it.
Is he? Yeah, I need to look him up. Eric Swalwell. Let me look him up. Been a day or two.
But I agree with you. The problem is that this has been a slow burn. And like, I get it. People don't want to jump the gun. Like whoever it was in the chat who kind of like questioned, like, oh, they're different. They're not the same. And I get it. You don't want to jump the gun and just go, oh, you're a Nazi. Like,
right.
But if we can hold the line and hold people accountable and not let them dodge around the questions, like the sidestepping, like hold their feet to the fire. I feel like that's something that Democrats need to do better at. They need to be comfortable with being a little dirty, and not dirty to their own, benefit, but dirty for our benefit. Get a bit more aggressive, because the Republicans are relentless, and make no buts about it.
They are.
We need a bit more of that tenaciousness. And maybe had we done that back then, when we saw the ball started to turn a different direction, maybe we would be looking at a different future. Because now we're the wheels are off the fucking rail. The train's off the rail. Whatever the hell I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of us, like myself, I feel like, who are owed an apology by a lot of people. We've been calling out for years that Donald Trump was going to do this thing, that he was going to go this direction, that there was authoritarian dictatorship there, that he was in bed with Russia, that he was going to do these things. And yet we were called alarmists. Our YouTube channels were suppressed, or, with the shadow banned. You can't say certain things. It doesn't like you to compare Trump to Hitler. Just saying that too many times has problems. It'll demonetize the stream first for saying things that it considers bad. But I'm just speaking the truth. This guy is literally walking step by step in the footsteps of one of the biggest mass murderers in history. And
And
we can't say it too often on a public platform.
and he's doing it in a manner in which it's not as publicly understood as like what Hitler
Right.
did, right? But Trump's doing it like behind the scenes, like you said, like allowing all these cuts to happen
Mhm.
in the government that actually will now starve millions of people. So like we're responsible
Yeah.
for killing millions of people as well. It's just we
Yes.
didn't have to send them, we didn't have to build a camp to do it. We're building camps, but we didn't
That's
have
exactly right.
to do it, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes. According to the journal Lancet, between now and 2030, the cuts to USA aid will kill over 14 million people. That's more people than were killed, than Jews that were killed during World War II.
And let's just see
Elon Musk and Donald Trump literally just committed an atrocity. And that's just one of their actions. They did that and moved on so fast. We were doing other shit, but they committed an atrocity. And
the likelihood, Chris, is that the countries that are being helped by US aid, I mean, I can't say for certain, are probably countries that we've done some kind of coup and overthrown. We've probably played our little military type deals and F them up, which has caused them enormous calamities. And then they want to try to escape that calamity and come to this country. And then they're hunted down legally by ICE, by our Gestapo, our tax dollars. Like, we got all this money to do this, and then send them to another damn country where they're just going to be tortured.
It's crazy.
Oh my God. Like, I can't. And the fact that now Bondi and Trump are saying that there was no list. There's no list. There's no Epstein list. You've got you.
How they have got to be.
This
kidding.
is an alternate reality. It has to be, because you could not run your platform on I'm going to release the Epstein files and I'm going to release the Kennedy files, and then when it comes down to it, there was none.
Right.
There's nothing.
Yeah. All of a sudden, after Donald Trump is implicated by one of his closest friends, I guess at the time, one of his closest cohorts, accomplices. I think we should use the term accomplice at this point.
Accomplices is a better.
Yes. By one of his, and all of a sudden those things disappear. I think that's bullshit. I think a lot of people, even MAGA, I mean, even the MAGA people are agreeing that, hey man, this ain't right.
I've seen a lot of divergence, which I think is great. I mean, there's a few things that are starting to fracture. They're, I don't know which one to call it. They're confidants. Let's just hope this maybe really does the trick, because like I said, you run your whole, I mean, not his whole campaign, but he said it all the time. Like, yeah, I'd put those files out there because I have nothing to be afraid of.
Right. Yeah. Well, Donald Trump, that was part of it. I remember him saying, we need to get those Epstein files. And then, of course, I don't remember, there was a video. You can go find it on the internet. People, they're like, somebody was interviewing him and they're like, you going to release UFO files? Oh, yeah, UFO files. You going to release the John F. Kennedy files? Oh, yeah. Well, you going to release the Epstein files? Well, we got to be careful because there may be lies. There might be misinformation.
Then he started to, then he said, well, we have to be careful because it could implicate people. And I was like,
right.
So what you're saying is that you're implicated.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's just amazing how these people are the literal worst of the worst of the worst of our society. If you take Donald Trump at what the assertions are, we already know about the corruption, the sexual I guess you want to say
misandry? No. Misandry?
No. Just been a bad guy sexually, between raping people, sexually assaulting people,
and a bad guy sexually.
yeah. I mean, between the sexual assault, between the having sex, like I said, with a porn star, paying that sex off with campaign funds, the fact that sex happened while his wife was home with their newborn child. How do you roll all that up into he's bad sexually?
You're dirty.
Kind of all I got.
You're
dirty.
You're deplorable.
I mean, why didn't the Democrats stop him? I'll tell you why. First of all, my friend, I think some of it had to do with Obama was in office and he didn't think Donald Trump had a chance of winning. And so he didn't want to put an investigation into Donald Trump because he was afraid if he did during Donald Trump's campaign, it would seem political. So on that notion that he was not going to be able to beat Hillary Clinton, Obama gave us the first Donald Trump president.
Nice guys come in last.
Yes.
I don't care. Seriously, stop tightening your collar and tying your tie. Get dirty, bitch.
Yes. Merrick Garland, according to Brent A. Merrick Garland, I have problems with Merrick Garland too. Yeah, I think he's a traitor. I think he's a traitor to our nation. He waited so long that had he actually proceeded sooner with the investigations, that Donald Trump would have been in prison by the time the election happened. Another thing people should know, if you're a Trump supporter out there and you don't know this, you really should know Donald Trump started his election campaign like 14 or 16 months early because he knew he was going to be charged with crimes, and he wanted to be able to say it was political. Let's see who's Dade Murphy, $10. Thank you very much. Dade Murphy says, excuse me. Once Americans realize that capitalists care only about that which increases their profit, particularly in the short term, and nothing else, the more things will start to make sense. Yes. You know, I've actually been against You're muted. Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not. You were just quiet.
Oh.
Okay. I lost this romantic notion of being a capitalist a long time ago. Capitalism, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody out there feels the same way, share with me that you feel the same way. But the reason why I'm not a capitalist is one example. I can give just one example without straining my neurons to do it. Capitalism will let you step over starving people to throw away food, right? Because they can't afford it. That's what capitalism does. That's capitalism wrapped up.
Capitalism is jailing people and fining people who are feeding the homeless. Capitalism is paying for more cops to police the streets, to round up homeless people and throw away their belongings.
Right.
Instead of building the homes.
That's right. Capitalism is privatizing the prison and paying a company per head. That way, that company is in. So that way, instead of just arresting people or finding them on the side of the street, you're doing everything you can to throw them in jail, especially people of color, that sort of thing.
We criminalize everything. We penalize everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, now, if you're rich enough, you can get out, you can buy off almost anything. You can you can get something, almost anything turned into a fine. Diddy is probably a very good example. If you're rich enough, you can get away with damn near anything. He is going to, have you heard they've delayed his sentencing?
No, I don't think so.
I would like to make something I'm going to throw out there somehow that Donald Trump is going to step in and avoid him having to fulfill his entire sentence. I think that's part of what's happening. I think at least or a maximum of 20 years, 10 years per conviction, if I remember right, on things. But the Theophilus says Democrats didn't want to win. I absolutely right. Well, I think Democrats wanted to win. They didn't really care about the left or progressives or everybody else. They wanted Debbie Wasserman Schultz, if you're watching, her and her group of people wanted the old school Democrats, Hillary Clinton and their ilk, to continue on the legacy, their thing, their Democratic legacy. They didn't want to accept that the American people had shifted and that Bernie Sanders really was their best possible move. The best thing they could have done was supported Bernie Sanders. Doesn't matter who cares. Thank you for the super chat, the $20 super chat. Look at you go. Very much appreciate you. Says first time catching the live show, but God damn, y'all are dope. Is this every day at 7 a.m.? Indeed it is. We do it Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Very true. We do. Thank you for the super chat. And thank you for
early.
Yeah. One of the things is it's 9 a.m. Eastern. So if you must be mountain time like me. I'm in Albuquerque area. capitalism is based on oppression. You're right. Capitalism is not good. It's sold to the people by the rich.
Yes.
It's sold
You
to them.
too can be a winner, Chris.
Yes. But
That's
you're more
the
likely to be
American
homeless
dream.
than a billionaire.
I know that's what people don't get. Everybody like wants to champion this idea of the American dream that you too can get rich if you just work hard. It does not work. I'm not saying it can't work like that. I'm just saying that's not the rule.
Right.
The rule is not if you work hard you will get rich or have a good life.
Right.
That's not what this freedom means. It just means that you have the freedom to work hard for somebody else so they can be rich.
There's a system here. And if you can find a way to game the system, or if you can find a way to legitimately oppress other people, you're going to be a winner here. That's capitalism. That's the rich people talking at you. That's the freedom. That's the opportunity. If you can figure out how to oppress or fuck over another people, you can be among us.
Right? Like if you don't mind stepping on people's necks to get to the top, you too can be a millionaire.
That's right. Dave Murphy, thank you for that. Says meritocracy is a myth. That's true. Certainly not in our country. That's, oh my goodness. You know, Star Trek has this.
You know.
What's that?
I said a lot of it is who you know.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Or
who you were born.
You know.
That's right.
There you go.
Right.
It's not merit. Could be, can be, again, not the rule. But the likelihood,
Dade says, Dade is just spitting all kinds of wisdom today. Dade says, democracy doesn't matter. Children doesn't matter. The elderly don't matter. The Constitution doesn't matter. Your rights don't matter. Poor people, immigrants, none of this matters. Only profit. This is fantastic. This not only applies to capitalism, it also directly applies to literally MAGA right-wing conservative politicians. Democracy doesn't matter. They don't give a shit about your vote. Donald Trump and them contested the only time they ever contest an election result is when they lose. And they obviously had tried to overturn the election. Children don't matter. We saw that. They got health care for children all the time. One of the things, I mean, we've already talked about USAID. How many children in poor countries are going to die? The elderly don't matter. We knew that. They're already going after Medicare and Medicaid. The Constitution doesn't matter. We know that. They're going after the 14th Amendment alone whenever they're giving you your due process. They're already talking about, that pesky 13th Amendment. You know what I mean? They're suppressing people's rights. And then let's go over here. What else? Your rights don't matter. Yes, as I just mentioned, the 13th Amendment. Poor people are what's wrong? Poor people are just things to be tread upon.
They want to make it illegal to be poor. They want they want you to go to jail for being homeless.
Yes. I feel this is what I feel like. We have a racist, fascist autocracy, and their goal is to turn this into a country, a white nation. Their goal is to turn it into a white nation. They want to literally remove everybody that's not white. But we ask the question, what do you do then? If you remove everybody who's not white, who's going to do all the work? Well, if you've destroyed the economy and you've made everything absolutely horrific, and you've got white people who used to hope they could get $15 an hour, and now they're working for $3 and $4 an hour, and they're grateful to get it, then all of a sudden you've got that working class. You've got a white working poor class right here that are willing to fill in those Mexican shoes. You just got to get them desperate enough. So let's take away their health care. Let's take away their any kind of financial stability. Let's take away the minimum wage. Of course, there are conservatives you can go find who have talked about making the minimum wage zero. I bet that same conservative is not talking about having a maximum wage.
Never. Yeah. It's the talks are never about how to make us better. It's that you're not doing enough. You suck as a country. You're all lazy. You're not working hard enough. You want to suck the teat of that big government.
That's right.
They hate us. I really wish people would understand. Trump hates you. And I can't even say that Biden liked you. Biden probably hated us to some extent as well. I don't have faith much in some of these people. I wish that I did.
Yeah.
I wish that I did.
I think if you had to ask me, I would think Biden has this nostalgic notion of what the a 1950s version in his head of what a good
so
American is. You know,
yeah, he probably has like that classical, you're
Yeah.
right, idea. His idea of what love is for this country, you know?
right, right. There are just so many ways that they're attacking our own nation and trying. Now, here's an interesting thought somebody mentioned in the chat about prison. Was it Dade? Yes. No, that wasn't it. Let's see. Dade said that was
Privatized
cool.
prisons are like such a big mistake.
Well, they're already talking about no, I missed it. Oh, here it is. If they throw all the poor people in jail, they'll get their labor for free, right? And then somebody else said something similar. So poor people equals jail. It's illegal to be poor, right? Donald Trump, they've already got the alligator Alcatraz. They've already talked about going after natural borns. And Donald Trump, part of this money that they're given, that is, I think, if I'm right, it's more money than the Army gets for ICE.
It's more money than I know the Marines get. I remember specifically reading that.
And they're also going to be building, they're also openly talking about building more prison camps all across the country. So yeah, there's a good workforce right there, good prison workforce.
And what is the training? I need to know. I need to know what the training that these brutes are going through.
Oh, yeah. How much of it is actual political, just propaganda? We talking about the ICE agents that they're
Probably
hiring?
more like a rally when they're there. Hurt them as much as you can.
Yeah,
Beat
I'd really
them,
like
kick
to see more behind the scenes footage. I really wish we had more people in ICE helping us out, you know?
I wish somebody was brave enough to infiltrate and join.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and you know the thing is we don't know. There actually could be, but that I doubt that they would want to come out with any kind of information for a long time. So we might not even know if there is.
Yeah, if communists, if Greg S says if communists want to claim that everybody has some inherent responsibility or obligation to everyone else's welfare, then the burden of proof is on them to dismiss. I don't know why we're even talking about communism. That's a far stretch. I mean, Greg, I dig you. I'm picking up what you're putting down, but even
I don't
communism.
know what that means.
Yeah, I don't either. Even in states like communist China or communist Russia, even in those states, you still have authoritarians take control, and you can call them communists, but they're not really communists. It's
but
clearly.
Don't we all drive on the roads?
That's different. In fact, I don't know if that he's talking about that.
No, but I'm just saying, like, to some extent, we all put money into things that help other people as well.
Socialists.
Oh, okay.
That's in my mind. That's more of a socialist thing.
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
He's talking about communists, like communist China, or I think that's what he's talking about. I'm just kind of clarifying. Dave Murphy again, the ICE agents equals the good Gestapo. So here at some point, Donald Trump is going to have to make some kind of law or rule openly expanding the role of ICE to where he can start using them as his own Gestapo against the people. Right now, Donald Trump cannot send the ICE agents to arrest Obama. He can't send them to arrest Bernie Sanders, his political opponents. He can't do that yet because they're just about, like I said earlier, immigration and customs. So, but Donald Trump will be looking to expand their powers.
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody's questioning them. So pretty much as far as I'm concerned, they almost do. It's just a matter of time before they figure out how to get around arresting people. Like,
they're
working
working
on now. How can they? How can we legally? What do we have to change to legally arrest them?
And those little judges were stopping them and all that kind of business they have. They kind of got rid of all that. So that was them using actual police agents, officers of the police, to try to arrest political opponents. What I'm talking about is the shift from whenever Donald Trump literally goes from using the police or the FBI or ATF agents or whoever is there to literally sending ICE agents to kick in the doors of his political opponents.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Prison camps equals concentration camps. Exactly right, Kelly. Thank you for that. I appreciate everyone for being here. We've got some newbies here. I'm going to run the pup real quick and let you people see the pup. And if you want to see something else before the show closes, let me know. Throw some emotes in the chat and let me know what you want to see. We've got other stuff. But right now I'm going to run the pup and I'm going to go get some coffee. And we'll be right back.
Flanagan!
Yes, sir. Very disturbing, I know.
Fetch me Father Flanagan.
Your Highness.
You are in the presence of His Holiness, the Puppius Maximus, guardian of the sacred fire hydrant, defender of the holy tennis ball, and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poopsalop the Fifth.
Your popedom. I heard you have a bone to pick with me.
Condoms, Father Flanagan?
No, thank you. I've got plenty.
That's what I mean. Why are you selling condoms?
Oh, you mean our Pharaoh Sombrero line of condoms? Understood.
You know how we feel about those around here.
Well, they're not to be used by the Catholics, of course.
Not for Catholics?
No, they're part of our Sinner Gonna Sin lack of faith outreach program.
A sinner gonna what?
It's like getting the tithe, but from the heretics and the heathens and the atheists.
Oh, well, when you put it like that.
But, Your Highness, this will reflect very poorly on the church.
True. You know what this means, Flanagan?
Warning label, a warning label on the box, not for Catholics in big letters.
Too subtle.
Instant purgatory if used by Catholics.
I like it. Divine branding.
Excellent, your popedom. Will there be anything else?
That will be all. You may leave.
All right, so we are back. I hope you guys enjoyed that, especially you newbies out there who've never seen the pup. I literally wrote, recorded, produced that video over a couple of weeks because I'm a slacker. And the day I scheduled it to drop, I scheduled to drop this coming Monday, as it were. That day I woke up to the news that the Pope had passed. Talk about timing. It really didn't help my video. You think with all the news of the Pope in the news, my shit would become viral, especially as awesome as that is, you'd think, but no, it did not.
Yeah, it might have just buried it, unfortunately.
It might have, yes. Let me see here. Tyler Dyson. Good morning, Tyler Dyson. Next time, maybe put a link in the chat. Maybe Atheist can give you both enough evidence or reason to believe in God. You guys don't know everything about everything. Well, here's the deal, Tyler. I appreciate you watching the show. Why do I need to put a link in the chat? Yeah, I mean, if there were evidence, somebody would have put it forth by now. I mean, there's no evidence. There's not evidence. There's nothing that you're going to give to prove to us that there's some sort of God, that you're God. I mean, it's a tiny bit on the naive side that you would actually come in and say that. Are you an adult? Are you a grown person? How old are you, Tyson, if I may ask? Are you okay, girl? I see you like buttoning up. Did you offend somebody?
Oh, no, I was just showing. I'm never trying to interrupt you when I'm doing that. I'm just letting you do your thing, but I'm talking to the audience through my miming. It's a Hawaiian shirt, but Dade asked me if I was wearing a robe, so I was just trying to show him that it's actually a Hawaiian shirt. Just very large.
Let's see. The Democratic Party is not really, it doesn't really represent, I don't feel, the left anymore. I don't know what you call us, the progressives. We're more progressives, but we'll just have to see what happens in that whole department. Let me see here. Hawaiian shirt. I just was looking to see if we got a response from the person. What was his name? Tyler Dyson. Tyler, did you just post and run, or are you still there? If you maybe get the adult that's with you to type out your response, if you don't mind. So I want to mention, since we're here, my friends, let me just check real quick. I'm going to see if, oh, your goodness. Yes. Okay, good. So you are paying attention, at least. You're here. I want to go look over on the ACA. Tomorrow, I'm going to be on Truth Wanted. And let me see if they've actually created, if they've created a link. What's that?
I said, do they want the truth?
Do they want the truth? I will help them find the truth. And you know, here's the deal, my friends. My friends, here is the deal. Tomorrow night, I am going to be on Truth Wanted. And you know what I'm going to be doing? I am going to be giving away all of the hidden atheist secrets.
Ooh.
That's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to be telling them, let's see if I can, I didn't phrase it right. Let me phrase it correctly here. The show topic is, bum, 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 bum. Katie, there's Katie.
Did you even do a poll? Or did
I do a poll? Yeah, I did a poll. Would you like to see my poll?
Well, you just didn't share it at all today.
No,
we didn't even get enough time
yeah.
to share it today.
It was
That's
cold.
how much we've been talking.
Sure. Let's see. What do inner circle atheists not want you to know? That's the topic. Apparently, somehow I've become an inner circle atheist, and I appreciate that. I feel like I've gone up in the world. So the topic that we will be covering is what inner circle atheists don't want you to know. So I'm going to be exposing some of our deepest, darkest secrets on the show, Truth Wanted, tomorrow. Let me see if they've created a link. Truth Wanted. Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. And I will be on there, I believe, with Objectively Dan. Videos, live stream. I'm 6'3". Jeff, let's see. Objectively Dan is one of the few people who is taller than me. I say one of the few people in our community. You know, he is 6'7", I think.
Oh,
yeah, bigger boy. So no, they don't have a show created yet. You know, actually, I was just thinking whenever I was at the Ark Encounter protest and met John the skeptic. John and I are roughly the same height. I'm 6'3", he's 6'2". I stand on my tippy toes to be taller than him. And I was just thinking about him. So yeah, I will be on that tomorrow night.
Heels.
What's that?
Get some kitten heels.
Ooh, or some Donald Trump heels.
Lips.
So as soon as they've got links to that, my friends, I will post them on my Facebook page. If you follow me on Facebook, I got a Facebook, Chris Mallard or some of that business. I guess I should start posting that stuff like you do here on your YouTube in a YouTube post. I don't normally post stuff like that. Let me show you our poll, though.
Start doing community posts.
Yeah. Native Atheist, thank you for becoming a channel supporter. I very much appreciate you. At the channel supporter of Leva. I think Chris wears lifts and is actually 5'3". You can actually ask those of you in the chat. Several people pointed out that I was taller than they thought I was going to be. So maybe it's something about my camera angle and all that business, but I kind of really so if you're there, so Dave Murphy says I'm 6'1" and Chris made me feel short. There were quite a few people who their first response was, hey, you're pretty tall. There's other ones whose responses were, get your hand off my butt. But mostly it was, you're pretty tall. Austin Sims, Chris is quite tall for a human. He may be the tallest duck to ever live. For a human, I'm okay. For a duck.
That's a big duck.
Very true. Good morning, Alosa. Thank you for joining us, guys. It's about time for us to wrap up the show. Can confirm Chris is a giant. Yeah, that's how when I met Brent here at the coffee place, I was sitting down when he entered and he walked in and he's like, Chris, and I stood up and he goes, hey, you're taller than I thought. I thought, what are you, like 5'10" or 5'11", 5'9" or 5'10", something like that, Brent? I don't know. Everybody's short to me. So, I mean, no offense if you're taller or shorter than that.
My husband gets freaked out when people are taller than him. He's 6'3" too.
Yeah.
So it's just unusual. It's not like he doesn't like them. He's just like, because he never does.
It's unusual.
Mm-hmm,
I'm the same way. Yeah. Oh, I was coming through the airport the other day and I saw a chick that was like at least as tall as me, and she was a teenager.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Thinking, every time I see a tall woman, I'm like, they probably think I'm a creep. So I'm just like.
Staring at them.
I want to be Amazonian.
I do that too, but the similarities ended at the word Amazonian. But yeah, But this particular girl was she was not model type physique. She was basketball star type physique. She was a muscular, athletic girl.
She's athletic.
Yeah. Good on her. She
cool, man.
fantastic.
Shit, if I was big like that, I would take every advantage I could to just be good at shit.
Brent says 5'10", so he's normal, and he then called me a freak. Yes, I'm a freak of nature. Sometimes people will come in the room and like, did you see this short guy come through? I'm like, you got to be more specific.
In relative to me, to you.
Yeah. Again, be more. How tall are you? We have Kane Cade. Good morning. I hope I said that right. Kane Cade. New name I've never seen before. Good morning. How tall are you, Ryan? Is the question.
Well, to be fair, I'm either 5'9" or just under 5'9".
Right around 5'9", awesome sauce. There you go. So I could like put my arm on your head like this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still like at my husband's chest, to some extent.
That's awesome. Sean says I'm 6'2", but I wish I was 3 inches shorter. I'm always bumping my head on things. Yeah. I like being tall. I have my tallness. My wife likes my tallness. She'll actually call me from the other room and go, "Hey, I need your tallness in here," and I'll go in there and I'll give her my tallness. Not that way, you pervs. Well, that way too.
Maybe.
You pervs. I'm going to read out our super chats. Thank you all for supporting us. I appreciate you again. I want to mention yesterday I paid for everything for the trip to NanoCon. Run about $700 for the hotel, the flights, all that thing. So naturally, any super chats I get all go towards that. I very much appreciate you guys helping me spread my crazy. So thank you very much. Dade Murphy for $10. Oh, wait, let me start up here. Left-Handed Jedi for $5 says, did you see the exchange between Crockett and Dershowitz? It's an epic takedown of epic proportions. I've seen her take down a few people. I'm going to go look that up afterwards. Dade Murphy gave away 5 morning show gift memberships. Thank you, Dade. We appreciate you. I'm going to have to add Dade Murphy as literally, because if you watch the credits at the end of the show, which I update every weekend, or I try to, if you watch that, I have people who, are supporters at certain levels, like a Chandler Rumble. But at the end, I also have executive producers who go above and beyond. And I'm going to have to add Dade Murphy to that list. I mean, the coffee cup alone gets you on a list. But all your support, I very much appreciate you, Dade. Dade says, for $10, Dave said, excuse me, once Americans realize that capitalists care only about that which increases their profits, particularly in the short term, and nothing else, the more things will start to make sense. And see, I think a lot of the people don't realize that they call themselves capitalists, but they're actually just plebes. Peons. I don't mean to use a racist, if that's a racist word. They're just the fodder. The real capitalists are the train magnates and the ones that those are capitalists. We're just the people they lean on to make their capital. That's kind of my thinking. So thank you for that, Dade. I appreciate that. Doesn't matter who. Thank you for joining us. Doesn't matter who. Says first time caller, long time listener. First time catching the live show, but god damn, y'all are dope. We have dope. Don't know if we are dope, but we have dope. That's what they call weed back when I was a kid. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Doesn't matter who cares. Is this every day at 7 a.m.? It is 7 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Eastern. We are live. Native Atheist became a channel supporter. I thought you were already a supporter, Native Atheist. You're probably a repeat offender. I didn't notice that earlier, so I apologize if I missed it. So thank you for becoming a channel supporter. Man, you guys are all wonderful. I'm well on my way to becoming a YouTube millionaire. I got to get better at the prostitution side work that I do. But
we're only 90,000 away from our YouTube plaque.
There you go. That's right. You are all wonderful. I very much appreciate your support. Did we have somebody wanting to see anything specific after this? I think I'm just going to roll the creds for today. And I'm going to do Altar Boys for you newbies who haven't seen anything. I'll give you some Altar Boys and then I'll wrap up the show. Thank you very much, Ryan. We'll see you tomorrow for Friday.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Is your humble parish tired of constant litigation? drained by bloodthirsty lawyers sucking the collection plates dry. Well, no more threats of jail time and public humiliation. Try Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys. Cute little fellas, eyes and mouth wide with surprise, complete with lifelike tears. Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys, coming to a Walmart near you.
All right, my blaspheming friends, you have a wonderful day. Tomorrow's Friday. We always love Friday. I will see you tomorrow. Sin safely, my friends. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming